Wow, there's something on the screen. Okay, there it is.
Wiped it off there.
Okay, thank you, Kevin. So we have Welmu from Eclypsia. He's the red Protoss up in the top left corner of Entombed Valley. He's playing against Blast.Bunny, now nuBreed.Bunny. Blast Gaming, that sounds very familiar for some reason. But either way, Bunny is going to be the blue Terran down in the bottom left corner, trying to break the tie for nuBreed. And I have to say, nuBreed has already shown me better games than I expected.
And yeah, I mean, they've tied things up. We knew that Eclypsia had a pretty strong lineup. Yes, correct. This is a no horizontal version. They're not actually using the true. I don't think they're using the true IPL version. The IPL version is cross spawn, but most versions of the map are no horizontal. They will have vertical though, so it looks like they're all on the same page.
Okay, Isn't ours cross only?
Yes, correct. So that's why I said I don't think they're using our version.
So they're at least correct when they say no horizontal.
Right.
Okay. So that's not so bad, because then there's only basically 2 spots to scout instead of all 3. And if you're close horizontal, then the attack route is just really, really short. We have the observer replay again.
Show is actually wondering, okay, so the CYN, I assume possibly even Blast as well. Portions of nuBreed. So Show just clearing things up at the moment.
Maybe it's just multiple teams part of the same clan.
Yeah, could very well be.
They entered as a clan. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to us.
Yeah, but it does.
Oh, does it?
Yep. No. Well, Bunny decides to put up a refinery as well, so no gasless fast expand. No terribly greedy economic opening there. See if he decides to open up with 2 barracks and then move into, it is going to be a 2 racks opening. A little bit of a blast from the past here. About a year ago, this is basically exclusively what we saw, and there is a pro back there, but he's going to be found out by this SCV.
He might not, unless he's looking at his mini-map, because he's hidden.
Let's take a look. Yeah, even if you look at his vision, oh, that's
tricky. You can't see it. You can't see it.
Wow, is that actually just outside? Oh my God.
It is, because you have to go behind the tree. The tree is blocking vision.
That's incredible. All right, so that is
Entombed Valley. Remember it.
That is one hidden pro back there. We may very well see a pylon as a result of that in just a bit.
But if he builds a pylon there, it will be seen, because there's not enough room behind the tree. Maybe he doesn't see the probe. Maybe not, Show. Maybe not.
That is correct.
I don't think a pylon is going to be possible just because the depot is there. But this is good for Welmu, because now he is going to see the timings of everything else and see these add-ons. 1 reactor, 1 tech lab, only 1 refinery up and running so far. So the probe does die, but he gains that valuable information that even Show could appreciate.
And he did in fact see that it was reactor first, which is actually pretty critical as well. A little bit later on the upgrades here, we'll see if it becomes or what it's going to become, I guess. Since he was found out, looks like he decided to expand a little bit quicker, put on some less pressure. Yeah, exactly. He expands. There we go, downfall. We saw that. And he'll probably go for stim first. Yeah, there it is.
We should just let the observers cast for us from now on. Just have them just type out everything that's happening so that we don't have to do our job.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, we can just relax.
I like the, we need something like the, what do you call it, the directed camera from League of Legends as well. So we can just sit back, don't have to do anything.
I can just imagine how horrible the directed cam would be.
He's going over here, now he's going over here, he's going over here, now he's going over here.
Oh my goodness, it would just be insanity, because there's so many important things already that we have to keep track of, that the directed camera would just have information overload during battles and stuff.
Well, Welmu's going to try and sneak back in. Not going to go anywhere, though. Bye-bye.
What was there a suggestion for spectator mode? It was something like letting spectators hotkey their own thing, so that whenever a medevac starts to move, we can just hotkey it, and then if tap back to it every now and then. I feel like that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that.
A pretty cool addition. But right now we have Welmu adding on that robotics facility. How many cases does he have? 3 already?
Yeah, he actually put those up a little bit earlier because he was afraid of the 2 racks pressure. Most of the time, Protoss players will put those up around 31, 32 supply if they're feeling pretty safe, but it came a bit earlier. So he was feeling a little bit more uncomfortable. He knew the 2 racks was certainly a possibility. He wanted to make sure he had some units on the ground.
Okay, so this is our 5th game of the series. It is a best of 9, so we're going to have a minimum 3 more games here, and every single game has gone over 20 minutes, with a couple of them going over 30 minutes. This is the first TVP that we've had this series, though, so I'm curious if it's going to also go incredibly long, and we'll see like those epic feedback versus EMP versus Storm versus, you know, just all kinds of craziness that goes on at the end of these TVP battles.
That's, yeah, I mean, it may be, as we see Robotics Bay coming up, a short 2-base attack from Welmu. Depends on what he follows this up with. If we see the double forge here momentarily, it'll be more Creator Prime style. It'll take a third as he waits on a couple of Colossi and moves out with 2-2 or 3-3 upgrades. But those would have probably been on the way by now. So it looks like we're going to be staring down, unless he decides to change this, depending on what he saw, a 6-gate robo attack. Just really early on, no forges, and hit as hard as you can behind two Colossi.
Well, he is getting the Robotics Bay. Yeah, 2 Colossi. It's probably a decent enough time to move out. It really don't have to focus so much on Immortals, because obviously there's no threat of roaches this time around. This is, you know, the first game we've had without any Zerg in it. Yeah, I mean, that all sounds pretty normal to me. Welmu basically just chrono boosting out his first Colossus while Bunny works on that MMM. He's already got medevacs starting to come out 2 at a time, and he actually, I'm curious if he's going to just continue on these 2 bases or start to build a command center preemptively here soon.
Well, we'll find out in just a bit. He is he's going up to that to combat shields for now and just investing back into his upgrades, but he's going to fall susceptible to that push timing that that this is kind of designed to exploit. There's a couple of medevacs that are out there, but not really that many forces, and Colossi are already being added on. There's Colossus #1.
Yeah, but he has to wait for extended thermal lances to be completed. 1 Colossus obviously is going to be very prone to being destroyed very quickly, and it looks like Bunny is not going to wait around for Welmu to try and get to that point anyway. He's actually going to be the aggressor here and loads up a lot of bio units into the natural here of Welmu. There's only 1 Colossus here. It's not getting focused down, though. The medevac actually gets picked off very quickly, so Welmu focusing down the escape, basically, of these bio units. The Colossus is taking some fire now from the high ground and the low ground, trying to strut around, but I have to imagine he'd be fine just shooting away at this point with the Warpin of Stalkers, and it looks like the Colossus did a good job there. 11 kills on him. Downfall agrees. Colossi never die, and now the second one will never die.
That's the power of that strategy, though. As we can see, 5 warp gates for now, and he could just save up and make a big attack here in just a bit. Third Colossus is out and on the way. There's another base coming up, but of course, before Bunny's going to be able to take advantage of that, he's going. That's a very small force to compete against what's going to be 3 Colossi here in just a second. That's
right. Vikings, usually you're going to need 5 or 6 just to even start to focus down those Colossi before they can get away over behind their Stalkers. But I'm not sure what Downfall's talking about. More Marauders, I guess. But 3 Colossi are now out. Man, English is just getting harder and harder.
It's rough today, man. I'm right there with you. So
it's a difficult language.
That is a fact. Well, that being said, linguistics aside, we have +1 weapons coming up now with a 4th Colossus. Just about to pop out, and we'll see if Welmu decides to just reinforce up at the front. He does indeed have that forward pylon on the way, and this is a quite large force making its way out.
Right, and only 3 Vikings here to try and attack all these Colossi. Downfall is telling a player who cannot read his words to pull his SCVs. There he goes. Following directions anyway.
Ooh.
And looks like Welmu is going to lose a couple of units and not actually get any real damage done in that first little prod. But the SCVs are actually on auto repair. At this point, they don't need to be standing in the extended thermal lances, but actually a lot of SCVs died there needlessly. 5 Vikings now in the air. Might be able to hold off these Colossi a little bit easier.
And Downfall is correct. If you hold, he's in a decent spot because he does have a 3rd command center all finished up, but that holding part is going to be very rough, and not being able to secure that bunker. Now there's a path where the Colossi can kind of make their way up to the side and continue to pick off the bunkers as they go along. No SCVs being pulled at all, and this bunker is just burning to the ground.
But actually, the observers do have a nice point. There is a factory blocking that 3rd base of Welmu, so Welmu actually had to go around and build it at a less than ideal spot. Also, Welmu is blocking Bunny's 3rd, I think, with a pylon, it looks like. But man, both players just doing that economic warfare while they're focused on attacking the crap out of each other at the natural here.
All right. Well, that third base is well on the way. It looks like Bunny going to try and establish this one more time, but there's a pylon sitting there and blocking things. And unfortunately, the Army is going to have to make its way out, or he's going to have to load up into a medevac to try and get out of there. That is a lot of Vikings on the field, though. One Colossus goes down, picked off there.
Yeah, Welmu has gotten another base up and running, it looks like, but at the cost of a Colossus, at the cost of some positional advantage, and now the Viking count is so high, there's not enough anti-air here to stop the Vikings, so he's going to try to plow through this ground force as fast as he can, so that the Stalkers might be able to pick off the Vikings at the end, but right now, the Viking count's still looking very healthy. Lots of Marauders still alive as well, pushing out of this base, and Welmu might get caught here without enough units to be able to hold this off.
And apparently Corky's in the game as well. Hopefully just as annoying as he is as a champion in League of Legends. But Marauder's going to be able to clean up the rest of this. His base will eventually come back. It's at half health, but that's not going to be that big of an issue.
Yeah, and as I'm really curious if Bunny's going to try and press the issue here and try to go for that counterattack. He does have a 30 supply lead, which is not, you know, it's not anything to shake a stick at. It's 30 supply difference. That's quite a lot in TVP.
What do you shake sticks at, though, is the real question.
Small things that are small.
Okay.
Because, you know, it might scare them away.
All right.
So like a shrew, if a shrew were to come up and start nibbling at my toes, I would shake a stick at it. Yeah. And then hopefully it would leave me alone.
But this you wouldn't shake a stick at.
No, 30 supply difference? No way.
Okay. All right.
That's a rather large shrew.
That's a large thing. That's
supply.
right. Stick is not sufficient at that point. No. You need to shake a machete at it or something.
That's yeah, that could work.
Okay.
If it recognizes sharp edges.
That's true. May not. Well, let's see here. Supply gaps are pretty stupid. So.
Yep.
As we can see, the third base is up and running now for Welmu, and he does have fairly decent economy, but the mules kind of hit their afterburners here, and now the income is just rocketing up for Bunny. He is pretty well prepared. He's got a pretty decent force as well, and he's just going to make his way up to this, well, what's going to be the fourth base here, but he's about to pick up another Colossus.
Yeah, storms are starting to drop now for Welmu. He's going to have to move away from that Colossus tech just because the Vikings have been doing such a great job already, but there's a solid number of medevacs here. Another storm hits. Oh, you know, he bounces out of it and just runs right back through it. Poor Marauders getting a little bit more pain than they bargained for, but the supply count still very healthy for Bunny. He's got a lot of medevacs still overhead. He's got a Ghost Academy finish now as well, so he's going to start researching some cloak, some energy actually for the Ghost, and I'm sure they're going to start making a difference with EMPs shortly. Wow, picking off that base without any real contention. Bunny has to feel in a pretty good position right now.
Oh, yeah, I mean, 100% now. He's up by 36 supply. He's got a fourth base under construction at the moment. It's about a third of the way finished, so his economy is going to be rocketing up. There's the weight from Welmu there. Had to pause for just a second. Not sure what the reason was, but yeah, the barracks count continues to increase as well. Bunny doing a little bit better job than his teammates were at making sure to increase that barracks count, and also apparently command center count as well.
Why not? Let's get as many command centers as we can.
Well, we can't have a game last less than 20 minutes.
That's right. So we're just gonna, both players are just gonna go back to their corners and regroup, and so they can fight again at the 30-minute mark. But all these Templar, they had some room to storm in the last engagement, but now ghosts are starting to hit the field in quite a large number, 5 being produced at a time, 6 being produced at a time, and they already have that energy upgrade, so they will be able to drop EMPs right away and start basically wearing down all that energy, and of course the super valuable shields on all these Protoss units.
Okay, well, Colossi are starting to rejoin the field. The first Colossus does pop up now. Second is on the way. But one was kind of in a tricky spot. Another Nexus finishing up, but I mean, he needs to consider double expanding here in just a bit. But if he does, then he's susceptible to a big attack, which is going to come out from an almost maxed army here from Bunny in just a second. Ghost count is increasing as well. There are still Vikings flying overhead.
Man, this force is getting just bigger and bigger, more scary as time goes on. These Marauders basically powering ahead just to basically see what's coming up for this giant bio ball. He wants to bait out any storms, obviously, if he can, like they just did, and keep the bulk of the forces safe. Right now, there's a 40 supply lead for Bunny, so he's just pulling so far ahead economically and in supply that his his attack here should actually be very, very, very hard to deal with.
Okay, well, Welmu's sitting back off to the side now. He's got his forces ready. Not a lot of AoE. Trying to get a couple of Templar there off to the side, but almost all of them are EMP. Just one remaining, and it gets picked off before it can dish out a storm. Welmu knows it once the casters go down, and that is all. And nuBreed taking the advantage once again.